So this is our implementation of the fade in and fade out effects. In this implementation, as you see, we have something that is duplicated. That is this style object here. How can we make this code cleaner? Well, if you pay close attention here, this is the style of the element in the void state. So when the element is out of the DOM, its opacity should be 0. So to clean up this code, we can define this style for the void state. So earlier I told you that here in the trigger, we often have calls to the transition and or state functions. So here we can call the state function to define a state. State. The first parameter is the name. So here we want to work with the void state. Now look at the second parameter. The type of this parameter is animation style metadata. This might sound a little bit confusing. And in fact, a lot of functions in the animations module, their parameters look something like this. So they always have animation, blah, 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 metadata. Now here's a tip for you. Whenever you see types like that, drop the animation and metadata words. So here, if we drop these, what do we have? Style. That means we should call the style function to get a style object. Okay? So we call style. And here we can set the style of this element in the void state. So opacity 0. And then we don't have to repeat this in 2 places. So we can delete it from here and also here. So once again, inside a trigger, we often have calls to the state and or transition functions. Most of the time, we use the transition function, but depending on what we're implementing, we may use the state function to make our code cleaner and more maintainable. Now, one last thing before we finish this lecture. On Angular website, when you search for animation functions, you will see 2 versions of these functions. So here's an example. Let's say you want to read about the style function. Let's search. Okay, look, here we have 2 instances. Let's click on the first one. You can see this function is defined in Angular/core package. So as I told you before, initially, all the animation functions were defined in this package. But starting from Angular 4 or 4.1, Angular team moved these functions into a separate package. However, for compatibility, they have kept these functions in the Angular/core package, but they will be deprecated soon. So now, back here, let's click on the second one. You can see this function is defined in Angular/animations package, and it has the full documentation.